Welcome back to another Baby Ethan episode. Today we'll be discussing how the process that you take to create changes how and what you create and the meaning behind it. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, grab a Coke and follow me along as we talk about the journey. This week was super awesome because I finally got to do my whole process that I've been theorizing about, but I hadn't got to do it yet. So I started with my film cameras that I love. I had my favorite one, the F5, and I took my wife and her sister and we did a whole photo shoot. These are a couple of the photos I printed out. When you're taking photos, you get to compose in real life and in real time, and you're trying to find the best frame in the moment, and then you get to adapt that to a painting where you get a lot more creativity and you can fine-tune your compositions. And basically when you're starting with a blank canvas, you get to create anything you can think of, and so we don't always get to choose the references that we paint from, and so when you get to mold the reference and the vision that you want the painting to go from the first place, I feel like it gives you a really good starting for a painting. That was the theory, at least, that creating my own reference images would connect me more to the paintings themselves. And I mean, here's the proof that that's true. I haven't uploaded in 2 weeks, but throughout that time I've done 7 alla prima paintings and 4 watercolor paintings. The 7 alla primas were about, I was completing them one every 2 days, and then the watercolors were kind of just thrown in every once in a while when I felt like it. My favorite watercolors that I did were definitely the Gandalf and then the Maleficent one. The past couple of weeks I've been focusing on color, and so that was something that I really wanted to understand how it influences like the feeling and emotion of the art. So a lot of my watercolors I did were monochrome because I felt like one of the most important aspects of color is value, and so when you take out every other aspect and you're just focusing on value, it gives you a really good idea of what the transitions mean. So that was really cool. For the photo shoot, we went up to this kind of castle-y place, and I had one roll of Pro Image 100, and we just did that roll and that was it. So it was kind of, I wouldn't call it like high stakes, but I had to be careful because I only had 36 shots to get references for, I mean, several paintings, several practices, and then I'm hoping to create a larger piece from that, from my favorite image, but more on that later. So through the editing process, I was changing the colors and working with the files in Lightroom, and I started kind of going a little crazy. I got this like blue-orange color palette going on in the images that I thought ended up looking really cool for the images themselves, but I wouldn't really want to paint like that. And that really got me thinking that the Zorn palette has taught me so much, at least my version that I use, marine blue, because blue's my favorite color and I have to have it when I'm painting. But I don't mix it really with the other colors, I like to add hints of blue here and there. So the Zorn palette itself was teaching me a lot of lessons, and I feel like I got mixing skin colors down so much better than I had before, and I was really pleased with the direction it was going. This week I painted this just from a reference image from Pinterest. I think it's probably my favorite painting that I've done. I really liked how it turned out and I was really proud of it, but I added this teal color in the background that you can see, and then that got me thinking that I wasn't using my favorite colors. My favorite color right now is this Quinacridone Opera. It's a pink color by Holbein, and it is so vibrant. It's wonderful. I love that color so much, and it's not part of the Zorn palette, obviously, so I wasn't painting with it. So I was feeling a little bit sad that I didn't have it. And so then through the editing process, I was like, creating for myself, I can do whatever I want. I can make whatever colors I want in Lightroom, and why can't I do that with my paintings? So I developed this new palette. You can see here, it's a lot more vibrant than this more traditional Zorn palette. Anyways, I was able to create this one and this one. This one's not done yet, of my wife. But yeah, it's a lot more vibrant of a color palette, but it still works together and it has the same bones as the Zorn palette. So I feel like when I'm mixing the skin colors, I'm able to use everything that I learned before and plug that into the same portrait style. But a lot of time we talk about supplies and the meaning of our art and why are you making it? What are you using to make it? What cameras do you have? What gear are you using? Are you using the best oils, the best brushes? And I think a lot of times it gets overlooked of how you're actually doing it. How are you laying the paint on the canvas? Are you doing alla prima? Are you doing spray paint? And that really transforms how you're looking at the world, how you're looking at your art, and it ends up influencing what you create. That led me to researching more about this idea of material agency, and what you use to create affects how the ending is. And when you're using oils and they decide to drip, that actually is not something that you're choosing to do yourself. I mean, you can add drips in yourself, but that the different materials that you choose to use end up affecting how your art turns out. And I think that the color and the life and the feeling that I get when I shoot film versus digital, that means something, and it's not negligible. And sometimes I can't really put it into words what film means to me and what it brings to the table, but it does affect what I create. And just looking, like, these aren't all finished pieces, but they hold a lot more. Like, these three have a lot more of my soul in it than this reference one, or even this one that I think is probably the best painting I've done. But these mean a lot more because I was able to have my hand choosing what materials I was using, and then that affects how it went from an image, from a pose to an image to a painting. And I think that means something. I would really like to hear your thoughts about that. So if you could comment down below how materials have affected your creativity, I would really love to learn and keep this conversation going. I'm gonna keep shooting film, and I'm happy to say that I think my hypothesis was true, that when you take the time to create your own images to paint from, that you end up with better paintings. And I think that in the future, my collectors and the people that will view and love my art will feel that my art will be stronger for it. And I would invite you to keep trying to do that. Obviously, my painting's not at a level that I want it to be yet, but that's what practice is for, and I'll keep practicing off of the celebrity poses. I think it's really humbling to, because I mean, you don't know what my wife or sister-in-law look like. Well, I guess now you do, but you don't know their faces like you know celebrity faces, and so it's able to be like, oh yeah, that looks really good, that's a nice portrait. This girl that we don't know, she looks awesome because we don't have an idea of what she's supposed to look like in our head. Whereas this Snape painting that I was very embarrassed to share is way off. So yeah, it's very humbling, and I think it's really good practice, so I'll keep doing that. But for when I'm building my portfolio and doing commissions for people, I'm always going to use my own photos, because getting to influence the final result from the very start of the conception of the idea all the way through to the finished painting, and getting to add your own touch into every part of that process, I think will make art that is truly inspiring, and I hope that it can bring light to the world. And that's just my goal with my art, to make people happier and to see the brighter and beautiful side of this beautiful earth that we live on. There's so much that draws us away from that, any more of it in our lives. So I'd invite you to create beautiful things, to look at beautiful things, and to keep being beautiful yourself. And to remember that today's going to be a great day.